Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the cluttered and chaotic mess known as the eastern wing of the Stink Bug Works. Well, I've got a lot done, and I'm doing some thinking and such. I got the plating done on my headers here. These originally had a collector that had a plate on it, and the plate was supposed to simulate where it would bolt up to more exhaust system, but the exhaust was flat and there was no hole. So I took aluminum tubing, thin wall aluminum tubing, and I ground kind of a nice little bevel on that end and a nice square end here. So when you look in the end of your exhaust manifold, all you see is darkness. Darkness. So they're looking good. The motor, where's a good place I can keep this I don't want to handle it more than necessary. So it'll go out of the way for a while. The curved back on this just looks 1,000 times better than just the flat bolt-on thing. I'm thinking about my driver guy, and this seat is too tall, and boats don't have headrests. But you see where I'm going. He can kind of clear the drive gear, and if he turns his legs just right, he can get past the motors. So that's what I'm thinking. Or many years ago, there was a modeling company that made Ed Roth plastic models. And one of the plastic models he made was Leaky Boat Louie. Now, these were called weirdos. One of the models was Leaky Boat Louie. Can you imagine if we could get that Ed Roth character, with the bulging eyes and the tongue and the teeth and the gear shift knob way up here kind of thing? Should get one of those and stick him in here, Leaky Boat Louie. Because somebody was talking about the Ed Roth rat fink thing, and this is the kind of motor that he would have. Although he'd probably have the supercharger, but tunnel rams are for boats. Let's see what else. Oh, I put this side on, obviously, and you get a real good edge here, but the way they cut this wood, I had the same issue on this side. And you see what I did? I just filled it in with some epoxy and Cabasol. I lined up my piece of wood here to get this angle of dangle right, and that's just kind of the way it worked out. It was just a little bit shy here, so I'm, this is not a race boat. This is, just something to go around and look cool. So I'm just going to fill that up with epoxy and Cabasol and call it good. And I do need to put some on this bulkhead, because this is where it transitions from curve to flat. And when I was sanding the bulkheads, I was doing it flat, when this one still should have had a little bit of curve to it. So I'll just take that up with epoxy and Cabasol. I can cheat. So I've been thinking about this. Oh, there's a cat outside. I've been thinking about this, and what I would really like to do, I want to do a thing on this alternator. If you look at this piece, the alternator has the frame and it's open and you can see the windings inside that frame, and that they do that for cooling air. And what I would really like to do, get a load of it, now follow me, spray gold in all those openings. Of course, mask everything off, but spray gold in those openings, and then with a toothpick come in later with a drop of clear red and just put a drop in each one, and then when that dries, that'll sort of have that reddish tinge of the copper windings. And then take your aluminum color and rather than spraying it on, use a dry brush to where you got a brush and that it's almost wet, and you can just dry brush it to where you get just enough transfer that it will paint just those little ribs there. So just dry brush in those ribs, and then this center portion of it was the stator, the steel winding. So that'll get a different color there. That'll get that same gunmetal color, and then I'll do the same thing here. And so I've been thinking about going crazy on the alternator. What do you think? Is that a challenge? And speaking of challenges, don't forget the 2S challenge. The 2S challenge. Cool prizes. Maybe I even need to make even cooler prizes, because I haven't heard one person say he's entering. Now, everybody out there has to have a boat that they can run on 2S. I mean, you can get one of those $39.95 ones at Harbor Freight and run one of those, Right now, if you did that, you would be in first place. And you would be in line for cool prizes. So, just a thought. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.